Welcome to Build, Grow, Profit, where you hear from entrepreneurs why they built their business, what they did to grow it, and how they profit. Hello, and welcome to today's show. I am your host, Cassie Parks, and I am super excited to introduce you to our guest. He is a bilingual, classically trained, award-winning actor who was born in New York. He's been a professional actor for over 15 years and worn many hats, not limited to, but including producer, director, writer, actor, and executive producer. And I am super excited for him to tell you about his business. So welcome, Laris like Paris, to the show.
Hey, how are you, Cassie? How are you?
I am fabulous. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Of course, my pleasure. I am super excited to dive into this because I think you just do something so cool and unique. So tell us, tell us what business you've built and why you built it.
I'm an online Shakespeare coach.
Amazing.
And as the name implies, I coach people in Shakespeare.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah. I built it because I couldn't serve miniature hamburgers to people anymore as a catering
Yeah.
catering service. I couldn't do it. I can't. And I think my last job was like a barista.
Yeah.
And I couldn't haul the machine. I couldn't serve any more coffee. I was just over it. And I said, I have to do something else. And obviously I'm an actor and I have made money as an actor, but sometimes, you go months without work or whatever, and it's
Mhm.
not necessarily steady. So I said, well, what can I do? What skill set do I have? And I chose to use the thing that I've been doing for a very long time, the thing that I love, that I would do for free, because when you do Shakespeare, it's practically for free, and teach people, because I just know how valuable it was for me. And God's been good to me, and I've been very fortunate. And now this is what I do, in concordance with being an actor full time, and I love it.
That's
It's great.
amazing. So you speak Shakespeare all day instead of, hamburgers or coffee, right?
Yeah, and I'm a huge dork, so I was doing it for free. I was like, I must be getting paid to do this thing that I'm doing for free.
Yes.
I would like read the canon myself and get with friends and put together like meetings and produce the plays and stuff. And I was like, there's got to be a way I can make money from this thing. So now I am.
Yes, I love that story. And
Yeah.
so what was the key to growing your business, to going from I got to start this to, growing your business and having clients?
I think the first thing, I started with warm outreach. I started with just friends and family that I knew. And obviously, I know a bunch of actors. I've been in the industry for a while now, 15 plus years. And so I was just like, well, let me try to, I would like give lessons to friends. And I'd say, hey, how would you like the lesson? And, would you be interested in possibly doing this? And most people like, no, or maybe, or whatever. But eventually I had friends of friends and first, third, and fourth degree friends. And then eventually I got my own clients. And I was just doing it that way. And now what I usually do is definitely prospecting. So I'm on Facebook every day, practically. I'll call people, text people, email them, ask for referrals from my clients that I'm working with now. I get testimonials and things, so people think I'm not just like some creep like on the internet. I'm a real
Yeah.
person who has helped real people. And so that's usually what I do. But mostly my lead generation comes from Facebook, actually. I just hit people up, said, hey, I'm doing this thing, and my first one is free. Come check it out, and if you like it, and if we work well together, then we'll see what happens. We'll take it from there.
Amazing. So you're on Facebook, you see someone who's an actor,
Hmm.
and you just say, this is what I do. And do you want to come have a free session? And then do you want to keep going or not? Is that how
Yeah,
it works?
that's pretty standard. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. So how many hours? Because I know someone listening is going to want to know this, or lots of someone's. How many hours do you do that a day? Are you on Facebook
Well, I'm only
prospecting?
prospecting maybe an hour a day. Like, but it's
Amazing.
concentrated effort. I have to
Right.
see this.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Timer. If you're
I
just
I,
listening to the recording, he's
I
got a
put the
timer.
I put the phone elsewhere, because otherwise,
Smart.
you'll find every excuse to whatever, and I close all the tabs and stuff, and then that's all I do. And so probably an hour, hour and a half a day. And I used to do kind of everything at the same time, and I started splitting things up. So when I'm looking for people's information, that's
Mhm.
a separate task from actually physically going and hitting them up on Facebook.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I have a script that I use for the DMs that I hit people up with. That's worked really well for me. If I send say 25 DMs a day, I'll probably get 10 to 11 responses, and I'll set up 3 to 5 appointments.
Amazing. And
Yeah.
then like 1 to 2 of those says yes, or do they all say yes?
What of the people that actually the appointments you mean, or when I'm
Yeah,
actually
that
doing the
that
appointment?
have like the first they do the hour for free, right? That's the appointment you're
Right.
setting up? Yeah, and then how many of
Yes.
those are like, "Yeah, I need to do more of this."
Well, I have like anywhere between a 20 to a 30% closing rate, which is really
Nice.
good because
Yeah.
usually it's like 10 to 15. But I've been in this for a while, and I just understand what sorts of actors. And my lead generation is getting much more refined now. So I'm
Mhm.
leaning a lot towards actors that are television and film actors that maybe have co-star credits and stuff like that, but they're missing something. And that
Yeah.
missing something is the classical training that I went to drama school twice for, and I paid a lot of money for. So
Yeah.
like, and it's really a game changer for you know. There's this thing like a lot British actors come over here and play Americans
Mhm.
easily, and almost no Americans could go over to England and play the English easily. And there's a reason for that. Their training is superior to our training. And it's not a knock on the American actor, but they're just steeped in classicism. They're steeped in Shakespeare. They're steeped in the Greeks. They're steeped in these things in voice and speech. And I, thank God, I've had the good graces of going to conservatory that was very adamant about voice and speech in that production. And I just know the difference of power that can be elicited from an actor, from the instrument.
Mhm.
We call this our instrument. The
Yeah.
difference between that, we have much more access to it when we're trained in that. And the actor that isn't trained in that is missing something significant. And they're actually missing a lot of money because everybody likes to play lords and ladies and kings and queens. Well, you can't play a king and queen if you have lazy speech and you're sloppy, with your diction and you don't have a range and you don't have power. Because who's going to believe a king that doesn't have any power or a queen that
Right.
doesn't have any power, right? So that's where that stuff comes from. And so I'm like, that's just what I bring to, especially the American actor. And I want to give them more access, even if they don't want to do Shakespeare, because it's
Right.
not for everybody. I love it. I'm playing Coriolanus in the summer. I'm about to do it hardcore for the next 2 months. But wealth comes from options. I had an interview with a wealthy. I used to have a podcast as well, and I asked this millionaire kind of buddy of mine, and I said, well, what's the difference between poor people and rich people? And he goes, poor people have choices, rich people have options.
That's amazing. I love that statement.
And I was like,
Yes. Yeah.
what? Wait, like, because I'm not a millionaire
Yeah, right?
yet,
You're like,
but he's a
yeah.
millionaire. So I was like, it took me a while that I'm like, oh, okay. For him, it's like, what do I want to do today? And for
Yeah.
somebody else who doesn't have that access, it's like, okay, well, what can I choose to do today?
Yes.
And so I've taken that mentality and applied it to everything that I'm doing. Wealth
Yeah.
isn't just material wealth, and the material wealth stems from the internal wealth. It's character that creates the wealthy person. It isn't just money. Money is an energy, right? It's a flow.
Mhm.
I honestly believe it's a spiritual practice, right? So the notion of abundance, the notion of generosity, the notion of sharing with people, right? So it's like the more you share of yourself, the wealthier you will be, whether that's physical, actual material wealth, or wealth in terms of relationships, wealth in terms of opportunity, wealth in terms of the things that get reciprocated back to you.
Amazing.
And this was a recent
Absolutely love it.
revelation for me. This
Mhm.
wasn't like something I didn't understand it until I started working with these people. And I had my own business because I used to like hoard things. I read a lot, right? And so I would like read a book and just like put it away in a shelf. And I'm like, no one's here to I have all this like stuff in my brain and it's just on a shelf. So I just started telling people stuff. People that want to hear, right? Because not every audience is like, not every
Mhm.
audience, the whole pearls before swine thing, that's a real thing. Like sometimes you're just talking to the wrong people that can't appreciate what you have to offer. And that's like a thing that I had to learn. It was like, just shut up. If somebody doesn't want to hear it. But if somebody that does, they're like, they're hungry for that knowledge. They're hungry because they want to
Mhm.
grow, you know?
Yes, that's amazing. I love everything that you're saying, and I totally yes, abundance is spiritual, and um, I love that, and I love that you're teaching like the sharing of yourself, and then I want to just back up because I think actors will probably get this, but if someone isn't an actor, tell us again, like I got it, but I want like how this like learning Shakespeare makes like just makes you like be able to be more powerful and more aware and yeah.
So William Shakespeare, in essence, created the modern human being.
Mhm.
He created modern drama. He created many of the stories that we watch today stem directly from him. I mean, the most powerful television show in recent history was a direct ripoff of Shakespeare, and that was Game of Thrones. It was a direct ripoff of Shakespeare. The Lannisters and the Starks are the what is it? The family.
Uh,
It's the War of the Roses, right? So like all of these elements are there, right? The intrigue and the assassinations and the people vying for the throne and undermining one another, right? The political machinations, right? So when you're studying Shakespeare and like any other great work of classical literature or any work of literature in general, what you're actually understanding is the human being, how the human being actually functions, right? Right now we're living in a world where a lot of the psychological stuff, like we're living sort of in our heads and a lot of psychobabble and great. And I appreciate Freud and I appreciate Carl Jung and their contribution. But before that, we had the Greeks and we had the English literature movement and we had the Spanish and we had all of these great people that were talking about this stuff forever. But they were talking about it in such a way in the Bible in terms of metaphor, right? When you understand
mhm,
metaphor, it's a much easier way to digest the truth. Sort of like it's like it sort of slips in subconsciously the
mhm,
truth of who and what we are. And in Shakespeare's work is so universal. He's the most produced playwright in history. In history, he's every single day of the year there's work that is produced by him. So when you're tapping into his work, what you're tapping into not is the story of humanity, but specifically in the Western world, the story of the Western human being, what it is to be a Westerner, what it is to be an individual, what it is to vie for power, what it is to for freedom, right? You're talking about certain things like xenophobia, they're going maybe sexism. You're talking about things in racism. You're talking about all of these other things are touched in on in his work, especially when it comes to individual ambition. Everyone is ambitious. Some of us might be conscious of it, but we all want to be important. We all, on some level, we all want recognition and validation. All of the stories are about people trying to assassinate other people so they can be important, right? Like and so if you're talking about from a business perspective, because business now has been transferred, right? We used to go out as marauders and find a neighbor and say, I want my neighbor's stuff. And we used to put on armor and get a sword and go take it. And now we've transferred that energy, thank God, for the most part, to business. Because
mhm,
business is a form of war. If you're talking about the suit is a derivative of a suit of armor. And you can even tell when you're looking at someone who's wearing a power suit that you look at them differently. They walk differently, right? They're nice and buttoned up, and they're very sort of they're about that business. Now you don't necessarily need that in order to do business, but it does make a difference when you walk into a room with a suit on and you're ready to go somewhere. It changes how you move through the world. That's no different than a king wearing a crown, and now the king has to deal with all of the people trying to assassinate and the machinations, all this other stuff, right? When you're in business, there are other people that are looking at you. They just want you to win. No, they want to win. So they got to do what they got to do to undermine you so that they can win or take your clients or take your this or take your that. So you have to be aware of it, and you have to understand exactly how the human animal works. So when you're delving into these works that are bottomless, I mean, you could study a whole play for a year, and in each play you're getting archetypes of all of the human beings. You could just go out into the world and be like, ah, I've seen that and that and that and that and that. Not unlike a simulation where you don't fly a plane and just fly it. You get in a simulator. You play act.
mhm,
When you're doing business, you're play acting in terms of the actual sale, right?
mhm,
Same thing. This is what we do. So these human beings, we're storytelling animals. This is what we are. This is like everything is a story. When you're making a sale, it's a story. You're selling the story, you're selling the dream. When you're selling products online, you're selling the dream. When you're going on a date, you're selling the dream. It's what you're doing. When you're watching a play, you're selling whatever it is that is on the stage. And you're just telling people stories. That's all it is. So who better than the greatest storyteller that ever lived?
huh. I love that, and, I would have been much more into Shakespeare had you been the one teaching and led with that when we were forced to read Shakespeare in high school.
Yeah, I know. And it's like
I
it's
love it.
I ask so many of my clients when I'm on the sales call or whatever, the discovery call and stuff, and And they're like, "Yeah, I read it in high school." And these are actors. They're like, and they like traumatized by this experience. I'm like, "Oh my god." Because it's meant to be read aloud. It's a
Yeah.
visceral language. You're supposed to feel it in your body. There's supposed to be bodily fluids that are moving through you when you do Shakespeare. Like that's what it's supposed to be. And so if you're sitting there like, like whatever in a high school in a classroom, it's horrible. And you're sitting in a chair. You're supposed to move. You're supposed to have a
Yeah.
sword in your hand or a scepter or something. You know.
That's amazing. Yeah, you could change all of, high school lit right now.
All right. I'm
I love
trying to
it.
do it one student at a time. One
I
student at a
like
time.
it. Amazing. So I know you want to create options in your life. What is the key to being profitable for you in your business?
For me, I mean, it's time freedom to pursue my acting career full time.
Mhm.
I love the one-on-one model. I really enjoy working with my students, but eventually, what I want to transition to is a one-to-many. A couple of times a
Yeah.
month, and then just go and just train and be an actor and be in plays and stuff,
Yeah.
and be in movies and film and television shows. Then eventually, who knows? We'll see from that. But for me, really, it's time freedom. So right now, I'm on an hourly model, but I want to work up to 10, 20 students in the class, and then I'm doing it a couple of times a month, and then that sustains me, and my full time is being an actor and a producer.
I love it. And I want to highlight this because this is impressive. Once you decided to do this as a business, you were profitable in 1 week.
Yeah, immediately. Yeah.
Amazing. What was the key to that? Just that you had decided that you knew you'd have to prospect, like,
Yeah, and I think I was unconsciously preparing myself to do it for a while, just
mhm.
having conversations with people, trying things out. But this is like my 11th business venture. Like
Yeah,
I've
yeah, okay.
tried. I used to sell M&Ms when I was in middle school.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I was that guy. I was like, "Mom, take me to BJ's," and I would buy like the bulk candy and just sell them for a
Uh-huh.
dollar, hustle, whatever. And like I would try this, I would flip things. I was trying to do it as producer for Shakespeare, and seeing what kind of money I could make with that. And that didn't necessarily work. I had a demo reel company that I was trying to do some stuff with, and that didn't necessarily work. And then I was trying to do like tactical um, filming, tactical firearms thing, like
Mhm.
hiring teams to do that, and that didn't work. And this was the thing that I tried, especially in 2023. There were maybe three or four just in that year alone that I was trying certain things. But with this is how I knew that I was onto something like that. It was profitable within a week. That's not always everybody's story,
Mhm.
right? But I think it usually is an indicator. It's like whatever that crossover is, sort of your passion, what you're good at, and what people will pay you for. I think I
Yes.
hit that. I hit that crossover perfectly with this,
Yeah.
and I think that that's the key to finding something. Because if you're just making money, I don't know if I could. And maybe this is the actor, the artist in me, because I just want to dance, right? Like,
Mhm.
um, if I'm doing something and I'm like selling concrete, I'd be really I'm a good business guy, but like I'd be miserable. Like I would not be
Mhm.
happy. So I think it has to be for me anyway, something that I really do love and I really care for, and I feel like I'm making a difference with.
Yeah.
And I think people feel that. I think people feel that, which is why I've had success so early.
Yes, 100%. That's amazing. All right. So tell people this has been an amazing conversation. Even I'm like, should I get my son into Shakespeare just for the power
Yes.
of it? Like, yeah. Which is something I never thought I would hear myself say based on that traumatizing Shakespeare experience.
The horrible English teachers, they should
Yes.
all be fired.
So how can someone connect with you? And if they're an actor and they're like, yes, I gotta hire him, how do they connect with you?
So just I have a business page. So Children of Dionysus, Dionysus Dionysus. Children of Dionysus. I have a Facebook page. I have a Facebook group. You can hit me up on Facebook right now. Laris Macario, Laris Macario, which I can see on the screen there. The website is still under construction.
Perfect.
I'm making money, so it you know what I
It's
mean.
like
So
it's
it's like
not a priority, right? And
it's
I love
no
that
no
you're
I'm
showing this. Yes, you don't have
right.
to have a website,
No,
but
you
this
don't have
is
to have a
yeah,
website. I literally just hit people up and I'm a dude. No, obviously I have pictures up
right.
on Facebook so that they can see I'm a real person. But because of my model that I'm doing, it's a free thing. At the very least, they're going to be like, well, if he's a weirdo, I'll just cut it and I don't have to pay him any money. But the website's coming. But I just knew You know what is funny? When I started, I was like, I said, what is the hardest thing? What is the thing most people procrastinate on? And that's
Mhm.
what I doubled in on, which is prospecting and getting on sales calls.
Amazing.
Because that's a business. It's not a business if you have a website. That's not a business. That's a website.
Yes, yes,
if you're not
you're so right.
if you're not bringing money, it's like you can say it. And I was that dude, so I'm speaking from experience. So like, yeah, I have a production company. I was like, well, where's how much money have you made? And they're like,
Mhm.
well, I've made none, but I have a website and I'm
Right.
incorporated. Who cares?
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. Amazing. I love it. Okay, so check out Laris on Facebook. Website coming. If you're listening to this in the future, you can click the links on the left if you're video, or the link on the bottom. That'll take you right there. Anything else you want to make sure to share today, Laris, as we wrap up this interview? This has been amazing.
Um, if you're thinking about doing it, just do it because it's just do it and don't be a entrepreneur. I would like read books forever and yeah, I didn't do it and then I finally did and it changed my life. It's just it because even if you're working more, but you're building something that's yours, it's so much more. It's so much better because it's yours and it will
Yes.
make you a better human being. It really will because it has exposed all of my weakness, all of them, all of them. I was like,
Yes.
oh man, I got problems right now. Like I need to fix. But I mean, it's fine. I'm fine. People wouldn't be giving me money if I was a dirtbag. But like, I think that it will make you a better human being because you're so accountable to other human beings, to other people, and you'll be so much more connected to yourself. So I just agree. I just think everyone should be an entrepreneur. Everybody should be a business person, and that's it. Just do it. Just do it and do it and show me. Like hit me up and say I did it because I want to see it.
Yes. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Laris, for joining us today. I truly appreciate it. This has been an amazing, fun conversation. Thank you all for listening. Make sure to connect with Laris and come back and check out our next interview with our next amazing entrepreneur.
And it's Laris like Paris.
Laris, like Paris. Oh man, I even thought of like Laris Paris. It's
Sorry,
Laris.
Laris.
No, thank you
Thank
for
you.
correcting me.
You're
Laris.
welcome. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye. Thank you for being here. Join our community to attend live recordings, access free training, and connect with other entrepreneurs by going to buildgrowprofitgroup.com. That's buildgrowprofitgroup.com. Register for a free account and then request to join our group. We're excited to connect with you at buildgrowprofitgroup.com.